Hey guys, the question I have for you is, should white win this game, should black win this game, or should it be a draw with best play from both sides? As a reminder, if you didn't catch it on the thumbnail, these pawns are going forward, and it is white to play. If you'd like to pause and think through that, and then we'll talk about what's going on. Hey guys, I wanted to mention there's a Black Friday sale for all my courses, 30% off the prices that you see right now. You just have to enter the code Black Friday at checkout. This is only going to be good through November, so it will end in December. So make sure you take advantage of that if you're interested. I personally recommend my aggressive offbeat E4 course. You're going to get a lot of unorthodox and interesting options to play as white if you are an E4 player. So definitely recommend checking that one out. Also, the 1000 to 1500 strategic thinking course is by far my most popular course. So if you are in that rating range anywhere from like 800 to 1200 and you're trying to improve, this is definitely the course for you. So make sure you check those out. Remember, Black Friday is the code to use at checkout for 30% off. Let's get back to the puzzle. All right, guys, I'm not going to tell you what the results should be until the very end. I don't want to spoil it. So we're just going to walk through step by step what's going on, and then we'll come to the solution at the very end. So when you first look at this, it does not look good for white. Yes, you have the two pawns, which are far advanced, but both of the queening squares are covered by black's pieces. So regardless of which pawn you push forward, it's going to get captured. Yes, you have this random rook over here, but a rook is not nearly as good as a queen and a bishop. Also, white's king is in the corner, which is generally not a good thing if you're trying to avoid getting checkmated by a queen. And black's king's in a pretty nice position to kind of potentially step over as well. So a lot of things that are not going well for white. Now, there is a move here that white has, which is very clever. If you'd like to pause, how can white create some sort of possibility of getting a queen with one of these pawns? What move can white play to accomplish that? Well, if you had a chance to look at that, the move is rook to g3. It's pinning the queen to the king, so the black queen can't just run away somewhere, or you'd be in check. And if you don't take the rook, well, then the white's going to obviously take the queen and win the game with these pawns. So black is forced to capture the rook. And what does that do? Well, it opens up this pawn, which, remember, the queen was controlling the square. Now it is no longer controlling the square. So at this point, you're probably thinking, great, we can push our pawn and get a queen and have some good chances, right? That's actually the wrong move. That's the wrong move. That's not the move that white plays. The move that white has to play in this position is d8 queen. And I know, it's like, wait, what? We're just going to give away our queen instead of getting the other one over here? Why would we do that, right? So here's what's going on. If we get the queen over here, we're actually going to get checkmated. And here's how. It's a long line, but it goes bishop to c3 check. It doesn't really matter where we move our king to. Black's going to have checks either way. So I'll just show you one sample line. Feel free to play around with this if you would like. But if we go to b1, black's going to do something like this. Queen to g1 check. We're going to try to run. The queen's going to come over here, check, 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 check. King to c2, which is a kind of a slow move, just taking away the square, setting up checkmate on a5, and we don't have too many good checks at our disposal. We can't go here because the queen is covering it. We can go down to f2, but now black is able to cover all the checks. We don't have a check here. We don't have a check here because the queen. We can't go here because the queen. And black is going to checkmate us either like this or like this in the next couple of moves. So that's a long line, but the point, going all the way back here, is that if we get this queen, we will lose after bishop c3 check, okay? So because of that, we have to do this. Now, you're probably thinking, well, that just loses our queen. Like, why would we want to do that? Here's the reason. If black takes our queen, now we get the queen over here. And you remember the move that was the problem last time, bishop to c3 check, which led to that checkmating sequence? It's no longer an option for black. You can't go bishop here check because we simply take it. And that changes everything about the position. And now it's actually just a draw. Like, yes, black can throw in some random checks, but it turns out that there's no way for black to actually make progress. We can just keep dancing around without getting that bishop on that diagonal. Black doesn't have the same threats. Okay, so that's the point, right? So because of that, black actually can't take our queen. However, they have this really clever move. If you'd like to pause, what do you think black can play besides this? Well, if you had a chance to look at that, the move is king to c2, abandoning the bishop and setting up something more dangerous. So if we take this as white, we just fell into a checkmate. Queen to g1, We have to move. Queen to b1, and then queen to b3 is checkmate. So we can't actually take black's bishop. And remember earlier I was talking about how our king was stuck in the corner and black's king could, potentially come up. Now we're seeing why this is such a big deal. We're about to get checkmated, right? So what do we play here as white to save the game? Try to think through this and see if you can come up with the best move. All right, well, hopefully you didn't say get another queen, because that just doesn't cut it for us. Yes, it looks nice. We have 2 queens on the board. That's great. The problem is black simply plays queen to c3 check and then checkmate. And the queens over there did not save us. So we can't do that. The only move that white can play to not lose is the amazing queen to d1 check. And yes, nothing is defending the queen, and yes, black can simply take the queen. The point is that we have to lure the king away. We have to lure the king away to give our king some breathing room, and this is the only good way to do it. If we move the queen here, well, black just takes it. If we move the queen here, the bishop just takes it. This way, the king is actually going to have to take it. All right. Actually, it doesn't have to. You could play king to c3, but then we can simply get our queen, and now white is actually going to win because black doesn't have any more checkmate threats, and we have 2 queens. So black has to take it. So they take our queen, and now finally we play f8 and get the queen over here. However, it's not over yet because our king is still stuck in the corner, and black has some very serious threats. Queen to e5 check. We have to be careful. We don't want to play king to b1 or we'll get checkmated after this. Queen to b5. King comes up, and there's too many checkmate threats that we can't stop all of the different threats. After something like queen f2, black simply blocks. There's no more checks for us, and we're getting mated. All right. So going back here, we have to play king to a2. And now black plays the move king to c2. And again, it looks like we're in trouble if we're white. There's a queen threatening to checkmate us here. There's a bishop. We're boxed in. What could we possibly do? If you'd like to pause, here's a great moment. What's the move that white can play in this position? Well, if you had a chance to look at that, the move is the amazing queen to b4. And yes, that's a free queen. This would be an oh no my queen moment, not to steal that from Eric, but you can see black can simply take the queen. What's going on? If black takes the queen, guys, this is a stalemate. You have no moves, okay? The other thing about queen to b4 is it's controlling all of these important squares. Remember, black had a checkmate threat here, potentially some sort of checkmate idea along these squares with the queen as well. We're controlling all of that, at the same time blocking out the bishop from coming into this diagonal. It's really a fantastic defensive square for our queen to be on, okay? So black is not done yet. They play the move queen to d5 check, and they're creating some more serious threats. So what should we play in this position? Well, the move is king to a1. And yes, we just ignore the queen because if black takes it, guess what? This is another stalemate. Again, our king is not in check. We can't move. That is the definition of a draw by stalemate. All right. So we end up with this amazing position where the only thing black can do is actually go back and forth. That's the best thing they can do. Just back and forth. And we get a draw by perpetual check or threefold repetition, or if black decides, you know what, I'm going to take the queen, well, then we get a draw by stalemate. So regardless, this position was a draw with best play by both sides. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I know I certainly did. Don't forget, courses are on sale for the month of November, Black Friday. Use that code at checkout, 30% off. I'll see you guys next time. Stay sharp, play smart, and take care.